Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight's topic: mental health and substance use disorders are connected. Now, mental health problems and substance use disorders sometimes occur together. This is because certain illegal drugs can cause people with an addiction to experience one or more symptoms of a mental health problem. Mental health problems can sometimes lead to drug or alcohol use, and some people with a mental health problem may misuse these substances as a form of self medication. Mental and substance use disorders share underlying causes, including changes in brain composition, genetic vulnerability, and early exposure to trauma and or stress. Now, more than 1 in 4 adults living with serious mental health problems also has a substance use problem. Substance use problems occur more frequently with certain mental health problems that include depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, and or personality disorders. Now, substance use disorders can refer to substance use or substance dependence. Symptoms of substance use may include behavioral changes such as a drop in attendance and performance at school or work, frequent getting into trouble, examples, fights, automobile accidents, and illegal activities, using substances in a physical or physically hazardous situation, such as driving and or operating machinery, engaging in secretive or suspicious behaviors, changes in appetite or sleep patterns, unexplained change in personality or attitude, sudden mood swings, irritability, and or angry outbursts, which could incidentally get into violent rages, periods of unusual hyperactivity, agitation, and giddiness, lacking of motivation, appearing fearful, anxious, or paranoid for no reason. When it comes to substance use disorders, there are also physical changes such as bloodshot eyes and abnormally sized pupils, sudden weight loss and weight gain, deterioration of physical appearance. That's what happens if you smoke. And I see this a lot more with some Caucasian women. If you look at them and they do a lot of smoking, they're very wrinkled in the face. In fact, they could be 35 and they look 65. That is from smoking. And that's why I say smoking is an addiction and it's a substance use which is abused. That's why it causes lung cancer and it also causes deterioration in your physical appearance as well. Unusual smells on breath, body, or clothing. Again, I'm going to go back to smoking. If somebody washes their hair or washes their clothes and they smoke, well, the smoke is going to get into their clothes. In fact, their house already has it because they've smoked so much. As a non-smoker, I'm not used to the smell, so it's going to be very harmful to me, where if somebody has been in that house smoking for a long period of time, they're not going to have any problems. In fact, it's going to be second nature to them because they have developed non-smells in their noses or something, or they have developed an immune system that can handle smoke. That's why I don't like smoking. And I'm only using smoking as an example to where you can get unusual smells on your breath, body, and or clothing. Now also, when it comes to drinking, a number of us have tremors, slurred speech, and or an impaired coordination, particularly if we can't handle our alcohol. Now, that being said, there are also social changes when it comes to mental health and substance use disorders. This is why they are connected, because on the social side, there's going to be a sudden change in friends, favorite hangouts, and or hobbies. Of course, when one goes through substance abuse, they get caught, they're going to end up with legal issues. They're going to also run into financial problems because their need for money is going to be unexplained. But I know what the person with a substance abuse is going to do with their money. They need money to support their habit. So what they're going to do, they're going to try to get money any way they can, even if they kill a loved one or steal from a loved one. Now, there's also using substances, even though it causes problems in relationships. You have individuals who believe they don't have a problem and it's not going to be a problem in a relationship. In fact, they're living with denial. But what they don't look at is how it affects the other person in a relationship. See, a number of us look at ourselves too much like we're not the problem. It is the other person with the problem. Substance abuse breaks up a lot of relationships. In fact, substance abuse leads to mental health issues. Cancer is not a mental health issue, it's a health issue. But cancer can come from these drugs that lead to anxiety, schizophrenia, and other personality disorders. When you look at all of these disorders, whether they're physical, mental, and or psychological, they all meet in one place, the face of death. And if you don't believe me, you look up the statistics for the amount of people who have been killed in automobile accidents. That's a big one, and that's from drunk driving. You look at how many people have died from drug overdoses, from using heroin. Now, is there any recovery? Yes, you can recover as an addict, but how do you do that? Well, number one, as shameful as you may feel as a person, you must admit that you have a problem. I know in the Navy, when a lot of us went on Liberty Call, where was the first place we hit when we landed in the port? We went to the bar. Why? Because number one, being on a ship or being confined in the field when I was a CV, it was like prison. And all of us who were on a boat and in the field thought that the only way that we could feel good and raise our self-esteem was to hit the bottle. Well, the bottle didn't do anything for us after a while except send us all to Alcohol Anonymous. This is when the Navy had the big alcohol initiatives. Because two places where you're going to find a lot of binge drinking, and you're not going to hear this much, you're going to find it in college, especially if your child is going away to college for the first time, but you have a lot of alcoholics in the military. Why? Because the military is a different type of life. Everything about the military is a discipline. It's more of a dictatorship. You don't have the freedom like you do in the outside world. But you look at the outside world. You have a number of individuals, college students. I just had a coworker that I've been driving back and forth. He got caught with a DUI. And what happens when you get caught, you get your license suspended. Now, I explained this before in the state of Indiana. If you get 2 DUIs, that's a felony. And it becomes very difficult to get that expunged off your record in the state of Indiana. This is why if you have any type of substance abuse, you must get clean before you go to work. Where I work at the Indiana Department of Transportation, they take random drug tests. When I was in the Navy, they take random drug tests. And I can remember my number because they go by the lottery system. It popped up 4 times. Now, I'm not a druggie. I passed all of my drug tests, but there were some people who didn't. So, what you have to do as a person to recover is you have to be truthful with yourself that you have a problem. And I want to tell you that someone with a mental problem, a mental health problem, and substance use disorder, if you have both of them, guess what? You must treat both of them. So treatment for both mental health problems and substance abuse disorders may include rehabilitation, medication, support groups, and talk therapy. And once you utilize those options, listen to the folks who are going to get you in a program to help you live a fruitful life. Now, if you don't, you're going to be that addict, and usually a lot of addicts, they become homeless. They have to steal for survival. In other words, the money that they're taking for their loved ones is to support the habit that they have. And there are a number of people who will kill to get some crack, get some cocaine. Because if you're addicted to it, it's going to be very hard to get off of it, especially if it is good to you and it's making you feel good. But I want to tell you, alcohol, substance abuse, and mental health issues are connected. Why? Because at the end of the day, if you continue down the long road, when you have a mental health issue and you have a substance abuse issue, there's only one place to go, and that's to the grave. And sometimes it's the early grave, and you don't want to go there, particularly if you're young. Because I've seen people behave very erratically when they're on drugs. They don't think correctly, and what they're going to end up doing is not only harming themselves, they're going to harm an innocent person. Now, I do videos on mental health issues because, from my personal opinion, I believe it is the root cause for the downfall of every society. Now, most of us don't talk about the connection between alcohol abuse and mental health issues. But if you think about it, they're basically one and the same. They might come from different angles. But in the long run, mental health issues and substance use disorders will be fatal. So if you don't want to be a statistic, you have a mental health issue and you have connected it with substance abuse, seek help. Because at the end of the day, you live one time. Make the best of your life. Because a functioning person, for the most part, notice I said for the most part, is going to have a fulfilled life. And at the end of the day, the only person you need to impress is you. And it's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Tuesday, July 25th, 2017. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in debates, controversy, or emotional issues, nor do I participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering because it's counterproductive. Frankly, it's a waste of time. What I do on this channel is to educate, give you the information as a tool so you can utilize it in the real world. Because if you don't understand how the real world works, you're going to struggle and you may end up as a substance use abuser. And that's what I talked about tonight. And you don't want to go into that environment because your life will be dysfunctional. So while I'm saying that, when you listen to this channel, the information that you are being presented is realistic but very positive. Because if you have knowledge, you have power, and no one can take that away from you. And that being said, if you have a business, a topic or a new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.